Okay, howdy folks, welcome back. So here we are, January 27th of 2023. You can see the loop we got playing. It picks up with the last blast right here and this object moving out. Right here's the very beginning. Okay, so we had a CME there, another CME over here. It looks like a little magnetic field or bubble in that one again. These ones, not really clear images, but you can see what's going on here. We've had another CME. This one looks like it's induced by the object. This one over here we'll investigate. So hello folks in the chat, welcome. So I'm just starting off with the solar report until some other people show up, and then we'll get into the latest revelations, and you're going to want to buckle up for this one. So here we are. Here's our object causing a CME. It looks like we had another one right here. Object right here. We can go in up. Okay, zoom in on this. Pull it up a little bit. Okay, so there's our object, and as it proceeds on out, you can see it has this bow shock on it and magnetic field around it. The instrument's reacting to it. It's this little black core right in here. There's a good shot of it right there. Let me zoom in just a tad bit tighter for you guys. Okay, here's our core object right here. Here's the magnetic field around it. Here's the CME that it's causing. Okay, so we're back out of that a little bit. Whoops. Let's go right about there. Okay, where my cursor goes. So then as it proceeds on out, you can see this magnetic bow shock right here as it proceeds out. Another little CME following behind it here. This has a nice round curvature to it with a dark patch in the center as well. Well, yeah, that looks like where these two magnetic field lines cross. Anyways, let's keep proceeding. Let me back up a little bit here. Scroll down, pull this over, and then we'll zoom into our other event over here. Where's my... Sorry, you guys, I wasn't prepared tonight. I'm running late. I got a lot done today, though. So, as it proceeds on out, you can see here we have our central, looks like, that's just a stream coming off. Here's our object right here. You can make out the round magnetic field around it here. And, yeah, let me back up one. And we'll go zoom in real quick on this. Okay. So here's our object. Here's its magnetic bubble, its little field around it. And then here it is causing the CME dragging plasma out with it. Okay. So let's progress through this one. Back out of it a little bit so you guys can see the rest of it. Okay. There we go. And then a secondary CME right here on the side. It looks like it's connecting to the magnetic field. There's a good shot of our object right here. Okay. Here, you can make out our round black spheroid shape right in the middle of this magnetic field that's causing the CME here. Okay, so here's our object right there. And you know what? Let's do this a little bit better for you. Yeah. Because I don't think you guys are seeing it very well. And we'll go in a little tighter even for you. Okay, here we go. Here's our round object. Okay. So let's back out of this now. We'll continue on out. You can see back here the magnetic, our instrument reacting to it right here. Whoops. As that object right here continues to move on out. Okay. So we have multiple objects causing multiple CMEs again. Over here on the red side, I want you to look at how much plasma is taken right there. Oh, that's what we need to do. Okay, so let's go over to stereo A. Take a peek at this one because this one shows the same blast. And once it's done loading there, I want you to take a peek at how much plasma comes off right here, if it'll finish loading here. Okay, here's the first frame right here. Here's our event underway, and you saw how much plasma it took with it. So let me pause on the first frame here. Boom. Back it up. Okay, here's our first frame right here. This is January 27th. Here's our event again. You're over here on this side. You can make out our dark little patch here in the middle of this bubble. So then, as we progress here, you'll see that move out of frame. A secondary CME right here with a bunch of plasma coming out. So we got more plasma. Looks like Earth directed again. We'll check some other instruments to see. But so there's a lot of plasma with that one. Okay. Now that we've covered that, I want to start getting into our latest discoveries here, folks, because what is happening is getting pretty interesting. So bear with me as I pull up this stuff and do my old-fashioned legwork here. Okay, where was I going here? Oh yeah, the solar ham. Okay, so here we are over at Solar Ham. We're going to check the X-ray flux like we usually do. And as we kind of zoom in here, whoops, that's not. Okay, that's probably pretty good right there. Just a tad bit more. Okay, now you guys can see it. And a couple weeks ago, I was reporting, you know, that our flux had gone up high in the C range and was running up close to the M class level. Now, if you look at what's going on, is it's dropping to the floor. Here it is, almost below C class level in B class level. That's okay, I'm going to start explaining this, all right? The Schumann resonance and how the Earth's magnetic field creates a Schumann resonance. Well, the sun has the same kind of effect, all right? And I believe that this instrument is acting much like the Schumann and is giving us a heartbeat of the sun, its rhythm. And it seems to be getting kind of quiet here, all right? So, I just wanted you to note this because as we go on explaining here, this is going to be a factor. Okay? So let's zoom out real quick. While we're here, I need to check this and see if they track this one. Yeah, see, they don't show any kind of CME coming off today. And we know we've had two of them, and they look like they're Earth-directed, yet there's nothing yet on the spiral. It says no Earth-directed CME events, but we've been seeing a lot of that lately, and it's been, the case has been otherwise, so. Okay, so you see there's no CME tracking right now, but look, something hit right here. So that was an R1 radio blackout that hit in the southern hemisphere, okay? So we know to kind of look at different parts of the planet now. The sunspots, they're still here, but not as many as we've had. You know, this whole thing was all full. We had the 1M flare today. It was a 2.8 or whatever. I think it's this one right here. And that was probably the one that I showed you earlier. And, all right. So now that we are here at this one, I'm going to leave it here for a minute. And we're going to start going a little deeper now, folks. So hopefully we've got a few people in the room. All right. So here it goes. In the last couple videos, I was explaining the dynamo inside the Earth, its core, and how it rotates inside the molten magma and generates a magnetic field. And here what we're going to do, I have to do it rinky-dink style, but we will do this here. Let me set my thing up here. All right. So, I'm coming over here now to this diagram of the Earth and its core, okay? You can see that in the middle is a solid inner core made of nickel iron Okay, then I don't really have a free hand to do this correctly. Then you can see the shell. Where's my poker here? Okay, here you can see our core. Here's the shell that goes around it, right? This is what's squeezing down on the core. This boundary line right here is where all the squeaking and popping and stuff is happening as this tries to rotate inside this field right here. Okay, so I explained that, and here's a little example. This shows you what it's made of. Okay, it's a silicate magma in here with the crust. Okay, so that's a little example of our Earth and its core and the shell around the core. Okay, so as we know now that that's the dynamo to the Earth here, and we have also the same dynamo. Just bear with me for a second here. I had my page pulled up. There we go. We have the same dynamo that works inside the sun. The sun has a core, okay? We get heavy metals like iron and lead and stuff here on this planet. They came from the sun. So the sun has a solid core, a metal, some kind of metal core that's rotating inside of an inner core, causing an electromagnetic discharge just like the planet does, right? Okay, so reverting back to our Mike from Around the World interview yesterday and the revelations that have come from that as of our core stopping and reversing direction. Okay. And you got to listen closely to him because he drops a lot of hints. And through it, and I listened, and he said something that, everything in our solar system is getting this effect. Well, we're all thinking every planet, but what is most of the solar system contained of is our sun. So if it's happening to everything, it's happening to our sun too. So if the same effect where outside radiation is coming into the heliosphere, pretend like this outer ring here is the heliosphere, okay? If we have stuff hitting it, it gets directed to the poles of the sun, just like on the Earth. It heats up the core expands, just like what's happening here on Earth is happening on the sun. The core expands, and the dynamo inside slowly grinds to a halt. Okay? So we have that happening here on Earth. We see that our sun is behaving very oddly, and now we have this effect that's happening on Earth is affecting our sun. Now, when it squeezes down on the core and it stops the core, our magnetic field drops. I want you to imagine for a second what happens when the core of the sun stops rotating. I wonder what would happen. Do you think maybe the sun would go dark? Do you think maybe its magnetic field, this outside shell that's this photosphere here, don't you think something might happen and it might stop shining? That's the glowing magnetic field right there on the outside. So if this dynamo shut down, the outside might stop glowing, you guys. All right, so that's the latest revelation of what's going on here and how it could pertain in other fields besides just the Earth. Okay, so now I see why Mike was saying I'll be watching the sun, because I've been watching the sun for a long time, and I've noticed that's why I report, you guys, because I know this isn't right. I know the sun's up to something. And now the clues are starting to come together here. The dots are starting to connect. And I believe we might be seeing the same effect that's happening to our planet right now, possibly happening to the sun. Now, with that in mind, let's go back over to here. Okay. I want you to look at this instrument now, just like you look at the Schumann, as the electromagnetic field that's generated by the sun, the heartbeat of the sun. right? And when it gets stabbed by, incoming rays, it screams too. It goes, ah, and then spits out an M flare, or an object comes by and reacts with it, causing it to scream, producing these flares. I think that what we're looking at here on this graph is similar to the Schumann, which would be the heartbeat for the Earth. This would be the heartbeat for the Sun. Get it? Do you guys understand what I'm trying to explain there? It's pretty simple. It's basic physics. It's applied physics. So now back to this. Oh boy, bear with me. I'm just back to this dip now. Usually we're, cruising along NC range, just bump it up a doom, pop, click, click, pop. Ooh, every once in a while an M flare, every once in a while, ooh, a big X flare. But we have this ground level in between M and C class that we ride here. We bounce around in this zone. We were riding way up high on the zone just a couple of weeks ago. Now it's crashing, and it looks like it went below C class level. I'm going to have to find the instrument that'll tell me what the readings are right here. But for the moment, it doesn't matter. It's at the floor. Let me zoom in even tighter for you guys because I need you to see this. Okay, well. All right, there we go. Now we're more in the corner. All right, you see this baseline? Oh, dang you. Well, we saw there the baseline and how close it was. Oh, must have hit something. Let's try this again. And this is current conditions. It started here, which was earlier today, or no, late this afternoon, this evening, and now we're into the next day, and it's riding the floor. There might have been just a little pop away from it, but it's riding the B class range, which tells me the sun is kind of quieting down. Could this be a clue or a hint of the core slowing down in the sun as well? So both of these graphs, now that we kind of understand what they indicate and what they're reading and stuff, I will be watching these graphs like a hawk. All right. Hopefully you guys understand what I just explained there. Now, let's see if the good Lord will let us go to one of our almost impossible sites. No, let's go first. Yeah, let's go check the current Schumann resonance. Okay, so we'll go here. And when you guys come over, look at this little diagram. I posted this as the thumbnail so you could study this. It tells you what it's made of, what's going on there. Come on, Lord, let me have this, please. Okay. Then maybe we'll go in a different direction here. One more time. Okay. I'm going to try something different then. We will go to, so that was going to be for the Schumann. Oh, let's go check the Schumann. No, that was what we were going to do. Iswa is what I was trying to find. Iswa. Thank you for bearing with me, folks. I'm sorry I'm a little rattled. It just trying to get all this stuff together. I wish I had a system that was a little more cooperative and we wouldn't have such difficulties. So just bear with me for a sec. It should load up. Anyway, so here's some of while we're waiting on that, let's go back to, oh, there we go. I wanted to show you guys something here. Come on back. All right, well, I guess while we're loading that up. All right, look at this big solar flare that's on the cover of this, or the picture of the sun. Look at that flare right there. Doesn't that look like a huge old wave? Whatever image they captured there of the sun at that time was a good one. So I guess this thing is really not going to load up for me, huh? Come on. Anyways, we're going to go back to this anyways. So here we are back to the structure of the sun. We got this outer, this region right here, this orange region squeezing down on a metal core, rotating inside this. This is almost like the magma, or the shell that we were talking about around the core of the Earth. The similar effect happening here. This would be the outer magnetosphere, right? So if inbound radiation hit this, it would, the sun has them at the heliosphere. It comes down through the poles, goes to the core, heating the core, expanding the core, just like in the Earth. Now it's happening to the sun here. Oh wait, we got it. Where did it go? Okay, yeah, here we go. Here we go. All right, bear with me, folks. You're so patient, so thank you for. Now, what I was getting at here was the magnetosphere. Okay, we want the magnetosphere of Earth, and what better instrument than this one that we used to use back in the old days? Because it's showing what we need to see is our magnetic field lines. All right, folks, that's what's going to be an indicator of our core and what's going on inside the core. Let me upload this real quick. Here's our current conditions. Okay, while we're here, all right, this is pretty normal conditions right here. Let me see if I can zoom in better on this. Okay. Okay, now we got it working. All right, let me back up just a tad bit. I just want to give you a little reference here. Okay, it's a better color going. Yeah, it's about as good as it goes. All right, these are field lines that come off of our magnetic field. Okay, and we have different kinds. We have IMF lines. That's the Earth connecting to other objects in our solar system. There are other objects that have a small magnetic field. So the IMF lines are these ones running vertically, right? The polar cap ones are these green ones. Okay, and they come out of the polar cap and they go back and they loop around. Then we have these closed field lines. That's the red ones, okay? These ones actually come out and close, loop around and close back up at the top, okay? Now I want you to watch. Here's how dragged out these red closed field lines are, as well as our polar cap lines, okay? So as we go through this here, you'll see it's just kind of doing its normal thing. Boom, 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 boom. We're going backwards there. All right, so that's our reference right there. Now, let me set up my date here real quick. So we want to go to the 11th, okay, because that was the date we had that collapse. So I want to go check out the 11th. We're going to go set the time for 0. Right there. And we'll go 300 frames. Bear with me, folks. I got to set it up this way. Usually if I had extra pages, we could do that. So now that that's loading up, it'll only take a second. So now we have the core causing issues with our magnetic field. So now we have to watch the magnetic field lines of Earth. And here's our instrument that reports our magnetic field lines, okay? And it's going to load up here, hopefully. Please let this load up. And anyways, it's kind of taking its time. We're going to see the Earth spitting out red loops of magnetic pulses shooting out from the Earth. Okay, if we can get this thing to go just a tad bit faster, please, Lord. I'm going to show you what happened on the 11th here, and we'll get there. Hi, folks. Maybe it's allowing a A few more people to get in here. So yeah, we might have problems in the upper crust here starting now, and it's just going to something I wanted to address there too. While we're loading this up, let me get this other display going here. Okay. All right, here we have the Earth again. All right, here's our core. All right, here's a little region around it that's the shell. Okay, then we have this mantle. So when these things are rotating, it causes currents in the Earth. If the Earth is rotating in this direction, all those currents are going to be following, going around in a circle in that direction. If the core stops and changes direction, those currents are going to continue to go around, but they're going to slow down. Turbulence is going to build up from this region, making all this area swirl and start to turn backwards, okay? So what is a stable flowing current going around like this in a circle is now going to be all jumbled up inside there, all right? That's what's going to cause our magnetic field lines to go haywire. They usually come out in a big bubble like this and come back in, right? Now you're going to see the haywire coming out of our magnetic field if this thing will ever cooperate. No, for some reason we are stuck at 31%. I want you guys to witness that because this thing usually is loaded up way faster than that. And the time zone, I was looking at it earlier today, is all of a sudden being a butt. And we're not moving. So, anyways, we're going to move on from that. I'll try to load up something else real quick. So we're looking at the Earth, and now I'm trying to show you here my YouTube. Now, so it says solid inner core. You can see the mantle, see the crust. Please let me have my YouTube channel. Okay, here we are. We're getting back in business here now. So. Why won't this let me access my live? Oh, come on, really? Well, maybe we'll just give a little reload here. Nope, you want to be difficult. All right, so while we're waiting.